Hi. Wait, am I making noises? Wait. I am! Success! Hi! Wait, music. Wait. I can do things. There we go. Hi! Hello! Hi! Hello, everybody! Hello! Hello! Who is here? Who is here? Who's here? Nightmind, hello! M0, hello! Good evening. Good evening to you too. Hello, Blue Eyes White Boomer, hello! Hello, Dapper Sapper. Hello, Bobo. Hello, Potter. We are brought here today by our common passion for orange science. So true. So true. Although I don't know if this science is specifically orange, actually. I'm not so sure about that one. Hello, Orishiro. Hello. Who else? I scroll. Oh, wait, words, English. Hello, Woodsticks, hello. And hello, Astro. You know what, Astro? Every time I go to say the second part of your name and then I struggle. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I stop. Hello, Astro. Thank you so much for the primary sub. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hi, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? And hello, Bob the Buildist. How are you? How is everybody? How are we all doing today? How are we all doing? And thank you for the lab safety register check-ins, everybody. Thank you. How are you doing? I hope you're all good. I hope you're all good. I'm feeling okay. I forgot to say hello to Husmod. Hello, Husmod. Husmod is tired, so am I. I'm also tired, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna have a good stream. They're coming for my science. They're coming for my science. No. They better not come for my science. It's open access. They can't really take much, you know? You know? So one and only Dr. Derry pending. So true, actually. So true. Good to see you. It's good to see you too. Thank you all for joining. Hello, everybody. Yes. Doing great. Cleaned up my computer desktop and downloads folder. That feels freeing. That's so good. I love that. I need to do the same thing. My downloads folder in particular is looking very bad. My desktop has always got nothing in it because like I get stressed when there's things on my desktop, but everywhere else, chaos, disaster, terrible. I've like had multiple times where I've like backed up my stuff and then forgot that I backed it up and then backed it up again. And now I've got duplicates of all of the same files in my like cloud storage. And then I'm like, okay, now what? That's not great. So I need to go through and sort those out at some point. Yeah, and I also need to do my downloads folder too. That's on my to-do list. My first thing though, today part of the thing that I did today was tackling my emails, right? Because so I have like 4 email accounts, 5 email accounts that I need to manage for various different things. And yeah, it was a bit intense. It was a bit intense. I think each one had like at least 300 unread emails. So that wasn't great. But I started going through them and I think one of them I got down to 20. Another one I've got down to 40. Another one, no, wait, no, that was just, okay, it might have got it down to 70. Another one's still on 250 because I haven't started yet. Yeah, so that's where I am. That's where I am. I'm a mess. I don't know if this science is orange. Orange bee is FDA approved for human consumption. You can dip the science into orange bee. That sounds like a good plan. Now I want to do that. What would it look like? How can we conceptualize what the orange science would look like? I honestly don't know. I don't know. Dr. Terry merch when. I should make something. But then, like, to be fair, nothing, like, the stuff has been on, for anyone that didn't know, we actually do have a Ko-fi page. Can you believe it? I never advertise it because I feel awkward when people give me money. But we do actually have one. There's actually stickers on there. There's merch. Yeah. If we get rid of that merch first, then I might make some more. That's how I feel about it. But I feel awkward telling people that it's there because it's weird. It makes it weird. And hi, Eric. How are you doing? I hope you're good. Aliens, we arrived for thy science. Hand it over so you can suffer. Psydere, it's free to grab, my friend. Genuinely, actually. Like, if it's open access, what are they even gonna do? This is the real question. Well done. I'm happy my inboxes are clean, but I do have many duplicates in backups. Need cleaning at some point. Yeah. I've got so many things that have like just backed up over time, like over the last few months. It's getting really silly. Like, I don't even know how, I dread to think how many GitHub issues I have assigned that I need to work through, actually. I really, really, really don't know. I'm scared. I live in fear. I don't like it. And then I have like emails from updates on some of the GitHub issues as well, so it just gets worse. Like, it's just like layering. The notifications are layering. I get the GitHub notifications, and then I get emails about the GitHub notifications. And then I get an email every time there's an update on an issue or a pull request as well. It's just, oh my gosh, make it stop. Make it stop. I've actually managed to set it up though, so that I've got a filter now. So like all of the newsletters, because I have to be subscribed to quite a lot of newsletters for my job. I have to kind of like be on top of certain things, right? And I've managed to finally, for the first time in my life, set up decent filters so that the newsletters go into a separate folder and they also automatically get marked as like red. Unless it's like one of the important ones that I should probably read. Otherwise, they all get instantly marked as red so they don't stress me out. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's merch. There's stickers. Yeah, Bobo, you do have the stickers. You do have the stickers. I think there's not many people that have ever got the stickers, actually. Because those stickers, like, originally I made them to give out at VExpo last year in Birmingham. I went to Birmingham. Terrible. And like, I don't know how many people actually ended up getting one. I can't remember. I really can't remember. But I think it wasn't many. Maybe I gave out like 15 and I had like 150 made or something. So yeah, they just kind of sat there and I'm keeping some of them. I want to give some of them to my defense committee. I want to give some of them to the defense committee. I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be cool. I think if only if they pass me though, only if they pass me, I'll give them some stickers. I'm gonna get some new ones made for Vexpo this year though, I think. I need to work out what though. I don't know. I don't know. The GPT can't generate orange science because of a lack of understanding of it. We need more research on orange science. That's very true. We do need more. You know what? That's what every scientist says about everything ever, is more science. More research needed. We don't understand. We have more questions than answers. We need more research. This is definitely not me trying to justify my next grant application. Oh no. You can tell the emails to turn off or just disable the notifications. Yeah, to be fair, I have disabled the notifications. I have done that. But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it gets overwhelming, doesn't it? When there's just so many. There's so many. I live in fear. I live in fear. Thank you for the lab safety register check-in. Cezek, welcome. I hope you're good. I hope you're good. 0 words per minute. That's true, actually. And now you've said that, I'm going to bring up the paper. Watch as we still stay on 0 words per minute, though. Yeah, there it is. It's the paper. This is the paper. We started doing this at another... Oh, hello, what? Thank you, Lankuri. Thank you, Lankuri. I appreciate that. I think that the goal is wrong, though, actually. Ignore the goal. I think it's wrong. I don't actually... When did I even... I'm overdue looking at this. Okay, yeah, no, the goal is horribly wrong. Good lord. Let's see. I think... Am I... Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay, I'll update that after the stream. There was actually a change that I made to the Ko-fi, actually, because I felt like... I know that like a non-zero number of people that watch my content, streams, videos, whatever, are based in like low or middle income countries, and I didn't want that to be a barrier. Thank you, Lankuri. Is it for the stickers? I hope it's not for the zine, because the zine's cursed. The zine's really bad. The zine. Okay, what I will say about the zine is that like, the most of the pages on it are good, but then there's like 2 pages on it that look it looked nice when I designed it, and then I printed it and it looked awful. It looks really, really cursed. So if you're a fan of cursed art, this is the zine for you. There will be a version 2 which isn't cursed eventually, but for now it's just cursed. I always said it as coffee. Yeah, see, I don't actually know which one it is. I don't know which one it is, whether it's coffee or Kofi. I don't know. But I say Kofi just because that way it's like differentiated from coffee the drink. But I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very confused at any given point. But yeah. On the Ko-fi page, I did actually make a change to it a little while back. I forgot to say about it. It's going to be getting more attention now that I've, not got a PhD looming over my head. But yeah, I've changed it so that now that there's like different tiers of it. So there's like there's like a standard one, there's a higher one, and there's a lower one, but they all do the same thing. They're just different amounts of money. I tried to make the lower one as accessible as possible, and I tried to make the higher one as high as I would be comfortable with without it feeling weird. And then the one in the middle is just in the middle. So yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. I never actually announced it because I just kind of did it and then I forgot to tell anyone because I had PhD brain. I had actual poo brain. PhD brain and poo brain are the same thing. Hello, Talarian, how are you? And hello, not the brain. How are you? I hope you're both good. I hope you're both good. Did the PhD correction go through? Done now? Not yet. Not yet. The corrections are gonna take a while. It's currently with the admin people. They're doing their admin things. So yeah, it's gonna be there probably for like a few weeks, and then I will have a date given to me as to when I must do my exam. But yeah, it's with the admin people. It's submitted. It's all there. Things are happening. Exciting. I will soon be Dr. Dere. Thank you for the posture check, Roshiro. I will sit up straight. Wait. Okay. Recently, I've been like creaking a lot. It's very disturbing. It's disturbing. Like I will just move normally and my joints will go crack or creak. I don't like it. At least you get a breather now. Yes, I do get a breather. This is very true. This is very true. I get like a period of time where I don't need to think. I think maybe like a few weeks. I can just back away from it and then I'll come back to it like a few weeks before and read through the whole thing again, maybe once or twice. I don't know. Signs of getting old. It's honestly, more than anything, it's probably signs of not being active enough. It's probably signs of being sat in front of my PC most of the day, actually. That's gonna change though. I've got an exciting announcement. I had salad for lunch today. I had salad. Look, I had normal food. Normal healthy food at that. Very exciting, very exciting. It did have beans on it though. It did have beans on it. It was like lettuce and then like green pepper, like bell pepper, and then beans, black beans, and what else? There was something else. There was something else that I'm forgetting. I used olive oil as a dressing and then some other stuff too. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I had actual real food. How exciting. I'm sick, but it's getting better, so all good there. Stay healthy, everyone. I'm glad that you're feeling better. I'm glad that you're feeling better. And yeah, I hope you recover quickly. I hope you recover quickly. My joints have always creaked, but I've been told I might have osteoarthritis. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. My joints have like often also creaked, but mine's not osteoarthritis. I do know a reason, but it's not that. What do you normally have? The last few weeks, I've literally just been eating like either plain bread with butter on it or like drained chickpeas with some hot sauce on it. That's been my lunch as a standard, or maybe sometimes instant noodles if I'm feeling exciting. Yeah. Does anyone else eat the instant noodles like without putting the water in? Because I feel like they're really satisfying. They're crunchy. I like that. We didn't even have to ask if there were beans. So true. So true. They're just a good source of protein, okay? They're just a good source of protein. Hi, Restless Comet. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're good. I feel so good when I finally eat something healthy. I know, right? I know. I was like, wow, check me out. I'm actually eating something healthy. This is so exciting. I was sat there with my salad. I was like, yes, yes, my salad. I'm so happy. I was literally sat there doing a little dance like that. It was very weird, actually. But I felt good, you know? I felt good. And then afterwards, like, I didn't feel like sad for the rest of the day, you know? Normally I eat something bad and then I feel sad. Like, yeah, I didn't. I felt good. Yeah, I should do that more often. I can't imagine not getting proper food under heavy workload. I would fold like a folding chair. To be fair, breakfast and dinner, Husmod was making it for me, so he was looking after me. So that's fair enough. But yeah, it was the lunches that things went downhill. Yeah, that wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie. The lunches weren't great. Because like sometimes we have meetings or whatever and our times don't quite overlap, or like sometimes I'm like, I'm sorry, I just gotta go fast. And then yeah, I'm just like, I'm making something quick and it ends up being cursed. It ends up being so cursed. I apologize. Having increased my bean consumption many times over recently, I know I could not survive simply having a can of chickpeas for a meal. That's for the pros, not me. It is a pretty pro meal, isn't it? It is pretty hardcore, I'm not gonna lie. But then if you think about it, it's basically just deconstructed hummus. So I think actually it's fine. And like I used to eat hummus as just plain as a meal all the time. So I don't think that's weird. Yeah. Was the bad food due to the time crunch? Yeah, it was kind of a mixture of the time crunch and then the stress. Because like when I'm stressed, I kind of just forget to look after myself properly. So yeah, it was mostly that. It was mostly that. And also like when I'm really stressed, I kind of forget how to do things. So like I will stand there and I'll be like, I want to make a sandwich. And then I'll be like, I don't know how to make a sandwich. Like I can't remember the order in which to do things. So yeah. Yeah. When the cheat meal is healthy. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, to be fair, even when I have instant noodles, I will put like beans and vegetables in it because I think it makes it more fun. Like I don't know, I feel weird if it's like eating solid carbs. That is what I do when I'm really stressed. So it's like a bad association for me, right? So I make sure to have other things with it normally. But when I'm stressed out, I forget how to do things and then I didn't. Salad on Fat Tuesday. Today you're supposed to have a lot of food. That's true. That's true. That's true. But I didn't. I don't know. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been eating a lot of of not great food recently. So I think that it's okay for me to start a day early. You know. Oh, thank you for the hydrate night, mine. Thank you. I will have some tea. Today I've got a tea that's literally just called Sleep. It's just called Sleep. I don't know what's in it. I just think it's funny it's called Sleep. Okay, I've had my tea. I've had my tea. 3 neurons have been overfitted on PhD material. That's true, actually. That's very true. Instant noodles, but the noodles become crackers because of the amount of tiredness. Actually, unironically. Okay, no, actually, I'm being dead serious, okay? One time, I think it might have been during the Suffer-a-thon. Someone came into chat. I have a feeling it might have actually been Fi. And was like, have you ever eaten instant noodles without putting any water in? Like, have you eaten them just raw? And I was like, no, why would I do that? And they were like, try it. I'm pretty sure it was Fi, actually. He was like, try it. I used to eat it when I was younger. And I was like, okay. And then I tried it and it's actually low-key quite good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. It's very satisfying. It's like, they're like the right amount of like They're the right density to be a satisfying crunchy snack. So, yeah. Don't you Brits call it Shrove Tuesday? Probably. I think we normally call it Pancake Day, actually. It just gets called Pancake Day. So, because we have pancakes, but not like the American thick style ones, but like the thin one. Like, they're more like crepes, really. Like French crepes. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Runic Fiend. How are you doing? How are you doing? Just came by to say hi and hope the stream goes well. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good day. They actually call it Tuesday, and it's so true. So true, actually. Genuinely. We do. I'm not even lying. We do call it Shrove Tuesday, so I can't even. I don't even have a comeback. It's literally just true. It's literally just true. No. American way of noodles. Eat the uncooked noodles, sniff the powder, and drink the boiling water. I don't even know how to process that. I genuinely do not know how to process that. That's like... What? Wait. 0 out of 10 would not sniff. That sounds painful. Because I get the spicy ones, so that would actually hurt. Bit anxious because I'm traveling, but besides that, I'm good, thank you. I hope your traveling goes well. I hope it goes well, and then you can stop feeling that you feel less anxious. Yeah, I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. I don't know. I pronounce my T's. Yeah, to be fair, I do just have the generic. I do have the generic Tuesday bottle of water in it. Haha. I do have that, so I can't even. It's probably just me, actually. It's probably just me. I've tried a snack that was basically dried noodles with seasoning, but it wasn't actual noodles. It was pretty good. What was it? Because there's one that's sold in the UK. I think it's called Bombay Mix, right? And it's like noodles, but they're made out of chickpeas, I think. And then like lentils, and I want to say there's chickpeas in it too, actually, as well. And then it's like in a seasoning. It's really good. It's really bad. Well, no, it's really good. But the terrible thing is that every time that it's near me, I'm like a fiend for it. I can't stop it. Like I need to eat all of the Bombay mix, so I don't get it anymore because, yeah, it's not great. I don't want to turn into a noodle, you know, so. Based on Mario comic where the guy eats the coffee beans and drinks the boiling water. I'm not gonna lie though, that was actually me. That was actually me. Like when I was when I was doing the edits for the PhD, I was not remembering how to do things. Fans of the chickpea noodles? I'm gonna have a look. Wait. What is that? Huh? That's a thing? It's orange, which is pretty fun. But no, it's not that. It's like I'm just gonna find a picture. Let's see. This one? Ah, this one. This is the classic. This is the classic. Let's see. Here. 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 This stuff. So I don't know if you can see, but it's like, it's got like thin noodles and thick noodles. And then it's got like, there's a green thing in there, and that's a lentil. And then I think there's also chickpeas. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. Yeah, okay. It's a mixture of spicy dried ingredients such as sev. So sev is the noodles. Okay, yeah. Noodles made out of chickpea noodles made out of chickpea flour. And then fried lentils, peanuts, chickpeas, chickpea flour, ganthinia. So they're kind of like chickpea flour like Cheetos but more dense. And then corn, and sometimes also puffed rice and onion. Yeah. It's very, very good. It's very, very good. Big fan. Big fan. It is yummy. I'm not gonna lie. It's like really, really... You know, like when you have something and then you just can't stop eating it, it does that. It's really good. My parents strangely enforced not dropping the tea in water to give them because water sounded American to them. What? That doesn't sound American. Americans are like water, right? It's like they drag out the A and then the T turns into a kind of D. That's what I normally hear anyway. Whereas like water, that's very British. No way. No way. I looked for it and I think it's called Little Prince Snack Noodles. Got them from a friend in Taiwan. Oh, interesting. Quack. I agree. Why are we quacking? What did I do to deserve this? That's specifically a West Coast accent, by the way. I apologize.
Time to retain our oaths to suffer through higher education but make it through.
So true, actually. So true. Hi, Bushy. Thank you so much for the Prime resub. Thank you. Thank you. You know what, though? My oath to suffer through higher education is almost done. And once I'm done, I'm not going back. So, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, like these snack noodles. Yeah, literally just like instant noodles, but like in a packet and you just snack on them. So good. So good. I would buy that. I would buy that. I wish it was a thing. I'm about to eat so much king cake. What is king cake? Huh? I'm learning so much food. What's going on? What's going on? King cake. Oh. Wait, is this also made out of bean? It says it's got bean in it. That's exciting. Wait, apparently this is a thing in the UK as well. What? Since when? Ah, no, it's not very common anymore. It used to be common up until the Victorian era, and then they kind of got rid of it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't know there was a special cake for that. That's exciting. I wish I had cake. I'm not gonna lie. That's specifically a West Coast accent, by the way. Your American accent is pretty much just my accent. I'm glad to see I'm representative. Let's be honest, that was a pretty I didn't do a very good job. Like, I'm not gonna lie, my entire like understanding of American accents is very, very biased by what I hear in the media, which is probably overwhelmingly that, maybe. I don't know. The only accent that I can like hear, as in like I can hear it in my head if I think about it, is the like, yeah, the West Coast, like the one where they drag it out, you know, and they like really is like really nasally. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's ringing any bells, but that's the one that always comes into my head. So yes. It's the good kind of departure from higher education. This is very true. This is very true. And I'm looking forward to it. Valley Girl, yeah, that's the one I was thinking. That's it. Oh, it's, yeah, that one. It's like, oh no, that's certainly an accent. And that's coming from me. I certainly have an accent, but that is certainly an accent, you know? You probably said you weren't going to pursue PhD months before signing up. Yeah, to be fair, the PhD was kind of an accident. They were just like, they offered it, and then I was like, yeah, go on then. Not gonna farm 7 PhDs? Absolutely not. I am not gonna be PhDs, George. I'm not interested in that. You gotta try king cake. I'm sure you can find it around, even in the British area. There's no beans. What? Okay, I might have just read a French word as though it was a bean. I'm not gonna lie. Girls want one thing and it's disgusting. I might be able to find it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing in Ireland. I've never seen it, so yeah. I don't know. I like toasted corn snacks. It's like popcorn, but it doesn't pop. It's just crunchy kernel. I've had that before and I like that too. Basically, I like savory snacks. I'm a big savory snack enjoyer. If it's crunchy and savory, I'm a fan. Yeah. I'm not really like a big sweet snack enjoyer, to be honest. Yeah. Savory. Savory all the way. I can't really do American accents. I can recognize that an accent is American, but not really place it where in America. Yeah, same, to be honest. They all kind of... I don't know. If I might be biased. But I feel like there is a lot more regional variety in the UK. And to me, that makes a lot of American accents all just kind of sound the same. The ones that I can pick out is like, I can pick out Boston. I can pick out that one. Because there's a lot of like Irish influence in it, so I can hear it, right? I can pick out the Valley Girl one. And I can probably pick out like, I can probably approximately tell sometimes if someone is from one of the southern states, but not very often. Thank you, Lankuri. But yeah, stop spending all of your money. Thank you. But yeah, I think that's the most that I could do. I can also just about tell apart Canadian accents from like US American accents. So yeah, I struggle. By the way, the festival went well. Well done, Bushy, well done. So many people thought I was the sensei because even though I'm the youngest and the lowest rank, I think they thought that I was the kind of person who would be the master, if you get what I mean. Working on getting that footage ready. Nice one, well done, well done. We're all cheering you on. I'm so glad that you did well. Hi, Duke Duckman. Sorry, I just realized you also did a lab safety register check-in and then I just like didn't process it. I apologize. How are you? Welcome in. I hope you're good. Favorite flavor of crisps? This might be controversial, but my favorite flavor of crisps is definitely roast chicken. Yeah, roast chicken. I'm a roast chicken enjoyer. What can I say? I only know the one Canadian accent. Okay. I can kind of tell them. No, actually, I'm not very good. Very honest. I'm not very good at them, but I can kind of tell them apart. I do struggle a little bit though, to be honest. Oh, you think you're racially profiled? Oh dear. Oh no. Oh no. I hope it wasn't that. Maybe you're just really good. Maybe you just give off sensei energy, you know? Roast chicken is very mid. How dare you, Astral? How dare you? It's my favorite. Oh, you know what? I think cheese and onions mid. Take that. That's got a reaction out of Husmod. Good lord. Thank you for the follow. Oh gosh, wait. How do I say your name? Alex? _____. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. You're part of the research participant pool now, so I hope you're ready to take part in some research. Not that we're actually reading the research right now. We're doing a pretty bad job of that, but you know, we'll get there eventually. American accents have way less differentiation than English accents or even Australian. That's true. I can also hear the difference between Australian accents. I can also hear that. I can hear that. Yeah. Is the roast chicken flavor of crisps vegetarian or vegan? Yeah, normally they're actually vegetarian or vegan. Normally they're both. The ones that I like are the Walker's ones, which are vegan. So yeah, but I think they're not labeled as vegan, but they are. You know, it's one of those things where they don't want to admit to it, but it's true. I think cheese and onion is bad. Okay, that's a spicy take. I have like one specific brand of cheese and onion crisps that I can eat. For some reason, one of the supermarkets has just like made their cheese and onion crisps not have any dairy in it so I can eat it. So that's weird. But cool and exciting. So I do get them when I get the chance and I do quite like them, but I must say I do prefer chicken. Hi Arctic Valor, how are you? Welcome in. 0 words per minute. That's true. That's true. Alex is correct. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. My biggest culture shock was no paprika crisps in the UK. Okay, don't actually even get me started. It genuinely makes me angry. Okay, I'm a big paprika crisps enjoyer, and every time that I go anywhere in Europe, I have to literally like buy 17 bags and put them in my suitcase. There was this one time where I came back from continental Europe, and I literally just had my entire, like, I had half of my suitcase was just clothes, and then the other half of it was literally just like paprika crisps and not much else. Okay, and then I got stopped in the airport by one of the sniffer dogs, and it kept sniffing at my bag, and I was like, hello, can I help you? And I was traveling for a conference, so I was like with my supervisor and with a bunch of other people in my lab, and this dog just kept sniffing my bag, and they were like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to open up your bag. And I was like, okay. And then I opened it up, and it was literally just nothing but paprika crisps. And then I think there was maybe like 2 other things in there too, but it was still all snacks. And then they were like, I see, you're good to go. And I was like, thank you, I'm never gonna live this down. So that was the story of how my advisor learned that I have a problem. Pain. There are multiple Australian accents. Yeah, they're pretty distinct as well. Like you can tell them apart. It was 1, being the Asian person at the tent, and 2, me talking a lot, but that was just me channeling one of my old people talking jobs. It wasn't anything bad. It was just funny how they would ignore the actual senseis. That is kind of funny. That is kind of funny. Look, if you're competent about what you're talking about, it might have also just been that, to be fair. Because like I've had times where I'm just talking confidently and competently, and then people assume that I'm like in charge, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't even go here, you know? I'm one of those people that gets approached in the shop and asked, like, can you help me get to the right place? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's in aisle 3 on the 2nd row up. It's about 3/4 of the way down the aisle. And then they're like, thank you. And then I'm like, you're welcome. And then I walk away and go and pick up my shopping trolley. And then they're like, wait, what? You know, because it's not my fault I've memorized the shop layout. I moved up. That's a name. That's a name. I'm just gonna call you Dr. One, if that's okay. What have you stumbled into? It was me meant to be talking about a paper, but then I started yapping, and then we haven't actually started the paper yet. So yeah, I apologize. Welcome in. I hope you're good. And also, hi, Jedi Supperpunk. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're good too. I learned about you because of your beans clip. The beans, honestly, they're following me around. They're following me around. Look, I'm okay. I stand by every take in that clip. It's normal. It's no different. Taking beans with you, a can of beans, and eating them out of the can is no different than having a supply of like granola bars. If you don't have anything else that you can eat, and if you feel like not capable of going into a certain place to eat, I would do the same, and I do the same. So yeah. In fact, if there was like a cafeteria set up at my university, I would just never have gone. I'm gonna be honest. I would have taken in my own food too. But thankfully there wasn't. There was lots of places where I could go and hide. So I didn't have to do that. So that was good. I was half listening, and I thought you were about to say, if you talk so confidently about something, that's what it's like to be a streamer. I mean, that too, to be fair. Have you heard what streamers say? They talk as though they know things about things. And I can tell you, as somebody who is both a streamer and a scientist, I don't know anything about anything, apart from very, very weird, niche, specific stuff about why people believe conspiracy theories, and nothing else. I know no other things. So, yeah. I have multiple cup noodles in my reserves at home, but to take along, never. Why? It's no, yeah, like that's what they're there for, isn't it? I always keep something in my bag to take with me, you know? And like, there's been loads of times where I've not known what I could have for food, so beans is the easy option, you know? Very relatable. Very relatable. Ellie's aware. That's terrifying. Mentioned you in passing in the last stream. She seemed validated by your opinion on bean eating. Well, I'm glad, and I must say that I'm a psychologist, so that means that it's a You know, I know what I'm talking about. Clearly, I know what I'm talking about. It's a valid opinion. I am verifying it. Yeah. I'm verifying it. Although I am not that kind of psychologist. I wonder what the research says about eating beans, actually. I wonder. There must have. Okay, actually, no, now I think about it. There must have been some kind of a study about how people make decisions about where to sit in a cafeteria and about how they make decisions about whether to not even go into the cafeteria. Because honestly, that was the most relatable bit. Like, the beans was also relatable, but the most relatable bit was like, you go into a room and there's lots of people sat down and you really just don't know where you're going. Like, you don't know where you're meant to sit. So that was the bigger part for me personally. You know what you're talking about? Since when? So true. I don't actually. I don't. I'm just making it up as I go along. It's gone too far, to be honest. Like, the, the PhD has been a pure accident. I've just been making it up as I go along, and for some reason it keeps working. So far, it's 2 out of 2 for valid from psychology VTubers. Exactly. Exactly. So that means it must be valid, you know? Sample size of 2. You can extrapolate to the population from that, definitely. Bean stream when? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. There was something that me and Mylin were asked to do multiple times in that stream, and we've been sitting on it and we're planning on doing it. So there may or may not be a bean related stream at some point. we came out of that stream and we were both like, we've got very strong opinions about this. And then I was like, Mylin, I've got an idea. Do you want to do this thing? And they were like, yeah, I want to do this thing. What? I just heard myself. I'm very stressed. That actually triggered a fight or flight response. You know when you hear your own voice and then you're like, no, that. I still get that a little bit. But I've managed to gaslight myself into thinking I'm Rin Penrose when I'm editing, so that's fine. A corner shop near me has somehow got these Thai Red Bulls, and now they're my regular lunch. That is so valid. That is not a healthy lunch, but that is a valid lunch, you know? That is valid, but really the call of free food is hard to resist. No. If I can go somewhere and get free food and then like I have to make a decision about where to sit and it's like there's no obvious logical place for me to sit, I will also go there once, realize there's no logical place for me to sit, and then never go there again. Like, that's extremely relatable. I need like a rule system for where I'm going to sit, and like it's if I'm going with people that I know already, that's fine. I will go because I know for a fact that they will have a seat. You know, they will make sure there is a seat for me. But like, and I'm meant to sit with them, and that's good. I can check that off. But like, if I'm going there on my own and I don't know if anyone I know is going to be there, and I don't know where's the best place for me to sit because there's like a lot of people I don't know, or there's a lot of people that I kind of vaguely know but don't really. No, I'm just not going. I would rather either not eat or bring my own weird food. So, yeah. I love the tweet that Mylin put out about packing lunch. That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Let me find that. That made me cackle. That made me cackle like an old hag. It made me screech like the banshee that I am. Where is that one? Oh my god, they finally got the kazoo! They got the Sonar Systems kazoo! That's so exciting. Okay. But wait, let me find the beans. Yeah, there you go. This is extremely funny. I wish I'd thought of this. Neurodivergent hour thinking, so true. So true. Literally so true. We know your opinions on on eating beans, but what are your opinions on eating raw pasta? It depends on how you define pasta, because I know that means different things in the US and the UK. Here, pasta would be like what do you call it? Wait. I'm really bad at remembering the names of pasta. Like fusilli or spaghetti. Yeah. Because like if it's noodles, then absolutely. I eat raw noodles too. But if it's like pasta, it would depend on the type of pasta. We're literally talking raw spaghetti. If it's the thin type, I can see that being kind of similar to noodles. That would probably be okay. But like if it's the thick type, that might be too much because that would probably be painful. Yeah. A great kazoo victory. It is indeed. That's so exciting. I actually didn't see that yet. I'm so happy for them. I'm gonna. There we go. The kazoo. We love that. We love that. Cackle like an old hag. So like someone over the age of 25. It's true, actually. Literally just cackling like me. Literally just me. Hi Marlon, how you doing? Citizen science generally corresponds to collecting data such as wildlife, mineral, or other environmental observations. Is that correct? Kind of, yeah. So it can be collecting any kind of data. The key thing really is that it's people who are not scientists are going out and collecting the data. So yeah, often wildlife, like, you know, observing wildlife, making counts on birds and stuff like that, collecting minerals, things like that. Those are quite common. I know that also like observations around like rivers and stuff like that. That's also really common. But there's a lot of citizen science also in like astronomy. So like there's loads of like projects trying to identify galaxies and exoplanets and stuff like that are all citizen science, which is just people go and have a look at like stuff through a telescope, or they look at a big chunk of data and then they try and identify things. Yeah. So that's what it means. That's what it means. So this paper's trying to work out a system for citizen scientists. So like the people going about their everyday life who aren't scientists but are helping out with these science projects, to propose research questions. So basically, instead of like scientists coming up with the questions that they want to answer, they instead go to like the public and say, what questions do you want answered? So they're trying to design a system to make that happen. And last time we talked about the paper, we got kind of through like their design requirements. They're basically trying to design a system that is, it's like motivating to use. People actually want to engage in it. So yeah, that's where we were with the paper. Yeah. Yeah. I actually need to know this. A UK girl asked me to bake her pasta, but her description made no sense at all. She probably probably wanted a pasta bake. They are pretty good. They are pretty good. So pasta bake is basically like, instead of cooking the pasta in a pot and then adding the sauce and then heating it up, you kind of like put the pasta and the sauce into a tray, like into a baking tray or like a casserole dish or something like that. And then you put some cheese or something on top, and then you put that in the oven. And then it like bakes the sauce. It bakes the pasta into the sauce, I guess. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. They did get a kazoo, but have now banned having feet in their stream to quell the accusations. That's so funny. Oh no. Oh no. Thank you for the follow, Dr. Man. Welcome in. Welcome. I hope you enjoy being a research participant. I hope you enjoy it. Maybe we could do citizen science, actually. Maybe this all ties together. Whoa. Whoa. I do wonder with the way that funding in academia is going, how the ecosystem will adapt for this. Yeah, it's been kind of rocky. It's been kind of rocky. Not gonna lie. It's been pretty intense. Would involving people with lived experience of the subject count as citizen science if they're involved enough, perhaps? Yeah, it can do. That's normally considered more participatory research. Yeah, so getting the people involved, like who live the thing that you're researching, involved in developing questions and research questions and methodology and stuff like that. That's normally considered participatory research. But to be honest, the Venn diagram overlap is pretty substantial between citizen science and participatory science, because they're kind of, I guess you can think citizen science is more like crowdsourcing, right? So it's leaning more towards crowdsourcing in the sense of like you're just putting stuff out there and you're letting them process the data or you're letting them collect the data. Whereas participatory is more like the people involved are properly embedded into the entire process. Like they're there for research question generation, they're there for developing the methodology, they're there for data collection, and they're there for when you're analyzing and writing it up. And there'd also normally be authors on the final paper as well. So they're kind of different, but they share a lot of core values, to be honest. Sounds like it's fairly common for people to get pushed out of their field due to limited positions despite having the knowledge. It's not been particularly easy to be an academic in the last like 20 years, to be honest. And it does happen. Like I do know a few people that have wanted to stay in academia and felt like they had to leave because there just wasn't really the right job opportunities, or maybe there were job opportunities but they'd have to move across the country to get them, and you know that's not feasible for everybody. So yeah, you put lasagna. So yeah, so lasagna is like sheets, and this is like normal pasta, so like fusilli or something. Yeah, or penne. Yeah, yeah. Are they British? I actually don't know. I have no idea. It does seem like the kind of thing that we would make, wouldn't it? It does seem like the kind of thing that would come from us. Because it kind of has like reverse pasty energy, doesn't it? Or like reverse steak bake energy. Let's have a look. This is all just recipes. I don't know what I was expecting. No, they're not. They are actually Italian. They are actually a thing in Italy. Yeah. And lasagna is an example of a pasta bake, but it is not what is generally considered as a pasta bake. Yeah, you normally use penne. Yeah. This is exciting. The Italian name is just baked pasta in Italian. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Pasta al forno. Literally pasta in the oven. That's so valid. Right, I apologize. There is about to be an ad break. I'm going to let the ad do the thing. I apologize. I'm sorry. Question, has it ever been easy in academia? As someone who knows nothing about academia, all I ever see is people describing a miserable working experience for like centuries. I think it's been getting worse, to be fair. Like when I've spoken to people that have been in academia for a very, very long time, and what they described earlier on was significantly easier to manage. Yeah. So like they would be able to like get a big publication, and then that would actually just get them like at least a postdoc, definitely a lectureship. Like, you know, they'd be able to make progress a lot faster in that sense. But now there's so much competition because there's so many people doing PhDs. That's a big part of it. Like there's more PhDs. There's more PhD students graduating than there are lecturer positions. So it used to very traditionally be like a pathway, basically. Like you'd do a PhD, and then depending on the subject that you're in, you'd probably go into academia. You might also go into industry as a scientist there, but probably academia. And it's been changing a lot. It's been changing a lot. I mean, it's kind of varies between different subjects. Like chemistry and certain areas of biology have always had a very big like industry offshoot, but for other subjects like psychology, it was never like that. It was always very much like you would probably stay in academia. So yeah. And if you didn't stay in academia, it's probably because you had some kind of interest in applying the work, like as a clinical psychologist or something. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Now it's difficult. Now you can get like 3 publications in Nature and you can't even get a postdoc out of it, you know? Pain. Okay, I'm gonna drink some tea. And yes, we are 1 hour in at 0 words per minute. I understand. I'm literally just stalling now. I'm stalling so that the ad finishes. So, beans, am I right? Actually, I don't know. I'm thinking more about favorite flavor of crisps. I'm trying to think if there's one I've forgotten. But I think actually, like, yeah, roast chicken is. I do like roast chicken, but I'm also thinking, like, is there something else that I like more? Has it done? I feel like the dashboard is always slow because it says that they're still up. I'm kind of worried that certain infrastructure and research might undergo volatility. Yeah, it's definitely something that's on people's radars, to be honest. In general, I think it's on people's radars, the possibility of that happening. It is kind of freaky, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things that there's already things that are kind of like struggling a little bit, you know? There's already some things that are struggling. Um, but that being said, you know, EU funding is fairly consistent. That's not under any threat whatsoever. And then a lot of funding for infrastructures also has input from like private funders as well. So I think the bigger infrastructure is probably going to be fine. You know, yeah, they'll work it out. I'm a salt and vinegar guy. See, I'm not a fan of salt and vinegar. I find it like I don't know. I don't know. I'm not big on salt and vinegar. I find it like offensive. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, it hurts and I don't like it. Okay, looks like the ads are actually done now. So shall we actually read the paper? Let's at least read a little bit, otherwise this has been a disaster. Okay, so. Yes, engaging citizen scientists, designing an open research system for collaborative problem exploration by Michael Gao and colleagues. Michael Gao is based at the University of Liechtenstein. We love that. We love the University of Liechtenstein. Yeah, so what we read up this last time was it was something. It was basically they were like, hey, people do citizen science, which is they go out and they collect data or they analyze data on a large scale, and it involves non-scientists. But what if we also crowdsourced ideas for research questions in the first place? So that's what they're doing. They're developing a system to help people submit their research questions, or rather their observations that can be developed into research questions. And they're planning this around both like an open science approach, but also open innovation. So this would not only allow researchers to look at what should be researched from a kind of academic perspective, but also it would allow businesses to work out whether there is a gap, a need that needs to be fulfilled that their business could potentially help with. Yeah, that's the that's the thinking. That's the thinking. My dream is to win at capitalism and find a research center. I would love to have a research center that's entirely funded by streaming. Can you imagine? That would be so funny. I would love that. As long as we read one sentence. Exactly. I wonder how science communication fits into this picture too, so the public would know the state of the field in order to know what questions to ask. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. How can people yeah, there's a big risk that people would just input the same things over and over and over again because they don't know that this is already being researched or that maybe we already have some degree of answers around it. It would be very cool to be able to link those things up. I think because they're just in this paper, they're just designing the platform. That's probably not something that they've considered too much. Also, like if you go out and tell people what the answer is or like what the research is pointing to, that might also bias the questions that they ask. So they might end up asking things that are like totally out of left field, and you're like, huh, that's an interesting suggestion. And then you go away and look at it, and it turns out it actually had some merit to it, you know? Uh, yeah. So I don't know. I think basically, I'm always an advocate for diversity. I think that like in terms of different ideas and stuff like that, like in order to have a best understanding of the picture, You need to kind of see all of the perspectives of it, right? So probably having a range of people in terms of exposure to science would probably be quite helpful. But yeah. There are some things where we do just know the answers already, pretty much, like to a solid extent, and for those things, science communication is very helpful. I don't know. I always feel fun. I feel funny about it because like I guess I'm trying to do science communication, but like a big part of the thing that I'm communicating, it feels like a lot of the time is like psychology is a baby. We're a baby. We don't really know much stuff yet. There's still a lot of stuff for us to understand. Which is fine. That's good. Ow, I meant to do that. That's good, and that's fun, and you know that's just where we are, and that's good. It means that we can't really do the snappy like. Did you know that this galaxy is this big and it's made out of this type of gas? It's very cool. We can't really do that. In psychology, you have to be a bit more. You have to talk about the nuance a little bit more, but that's fine. I like doing that, you know? Be for a research center sounds good. That would be so fun. I'm not gonna lie, that'd be fun. Can you imagine? The unhinged things that we would research. The brain is very complex. This is very, very true. Very, very true. There's probably a lot of research questions one could ask in regards to the dynamics of streaming. There absolutely is. There's actually like a growing field around that, around like the psychology of like not only like how people interact with streaming or like streamers, like I don't know if that makes any sense. Like how people engage on streaming platforms and also how they engage with streamers and then also how streamers think about the same, like the viewers and the platform and stuff. There's some really, really cool research around that. I have my own ideas for research that I would love to do, but I probably won't do it unless somebody wants to throw some random funding in my way. I'm just trying to get people to not drink unpasteurized milk and vaccinate. Older fields don't really get a buff dealing with the public. That's very true, actually. That's very true. It kind of like loops round. It loops round. At the end of the day, there's going to be misinformation about everything, no matter how certain we are about it. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't envy you. Although some of the things you hear about psychology are really wacky, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I sometimes hear things about like, oh, I guess like probably the most common like misinformation that I see in regarding psychology is like people using like MBTI typologies or people using like Enneagram typologies or the whole thing about like some people are like alpha wolves and other people aren't. That's like even the original author of that was like, nah, that's nonsense. So only using a percentage of brain, yeah, that's a good one. There's this really good book actually. I don't know if I've ever even mentioned this book before, but like there's this really, really good book called 50 Great Myths of Popular Psychology by Scott Lienfeld and colleagues. And it basically just lists out loads of things that you might have heard about psychology that probably isn't true. Yeah. And I remember the using a percent of your brain, that one's in there. But it's really good. It's like, it's quite nice. It's like accessible chapters. Like each chapter it's obviously 50 chapters, but each chapter is only about 5 to 10 pages long. So it's pretty easy to just like dip into it. And it's pretty fun. It's nicely written. Yeah. 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 I, for one, am ready to be utilized as a research subject. It's what I signed up for. The psychology of streaming sounds interesting. Okay, right? It actually does. And like specifically around VTubers as well. And like, you know, I see things like the thing that really, really, really fascinates me personally, right, is how people interact with AI streamers. So I'm thinking especially like AI VTubers, like, yeah. Like Aiko, who raided in a little while ago, or like Neuro, obviously, or who else is there? There's more. There's more. I forget the names though. I mean, obviously Nico's got one. But yeah, like AI VTubers, right? Hear me out. Hear me out. You conceptually know that it's not You know it's an AI. You know it's not quote unquote a person. And yet people develop mental images or like mental schemas of this character being a person. Especially when you have like dynamics where like the AI streamer is interacting with a human streamer or multiple human streamers, like with Neuro. Like that is so interesting. That is so interesting to me. I would love to do research around like the dynamics, not just of how viewers perceive it, but then also the dynamics of like interacting with an AI as well. So like if you're interacting with an AI, if it's got a VTuber model, does that like make you humanize it more? I would love to know. This is super interesting, but I don't know how to do this research because I don't have an AI VTuber. But maybe someone will let me borrow it if I ask really nicely. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. I'm glad that misinformation in physics tends not to have major consequences. I don't know about that because there's the whole flat Earth thing, right? There's the flat Earth thing where like people have died because of that. So I did work in social psychology and people think I can manipulate them. That's such a mood. I've got that a few times too. And I'm like, I'm not being funny. I'm autistic. I can barely even understand you, let alone manipulate you. Don't be silly. I need to write an essay on developmental psychology and I need to compare and contrast. And I can compare, but Lord knows what they want me to contrast. And so far it boils down to babies can see with eyes and know what mum looks like. What more do you want from me? That is a good question. I think normally it's like comparing and contrasting the theories, right? So it's like, honestly, compare and contrast. I don't understand why they put those two verbs together because they kind of mean the same thing. Like if you're comparing, you're also contrasting. You're like highlighting the similarities, and in order to do that, you also need to highlight the differences, you know? I don't understand it, but that's my understanding of what that normally means. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm not your lecturer. The notion of chat as a kind of extremely indirect pronoun, right? This is also something interesting that I saw the other day. The other day, I saw on the r/virtual YouTubers subreddit, it was a short. I can't remember who did it, so I feel really bad about that. But basically, they were like listing off some like things that you're meant to do as a VTuber, like in relation to chat, quote unquote. And like one of the things was like, don't call them by name. And I like, don't interact with people by name. And I was like, what? Eh? Eh? Is this a thing? Is this why everyone says chat? I literally never say chat. I always forget. I just refer to each of you like by name if I think about doing that. And otherwise I'm just like, okay, everyone, like, I don't know. Is there some kind of convention that I'm just missing? Am I oblivious to this? I don't know. Right? It felt a bit weird. I don't know. I wasn't sure. Chat, is this real? So true. It's for the more parasocial ones? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I guess there could be like if you don't normally refer to people by name, then I guess you could potentially only say the names of people that are like donating, and then it's like an exclusive thing and it's kind of an incentive to get people to donate. But like I don't think to do that because why would I care? You know? I don't know. I enjoy each of you collectively and also as individuals. It can be both. I don't find this very hard. It can be a problem, especially with bigger VTubers, when they say some people's names and others feel left out or neglected. That's true, to be fair. I guess that is true. That is very true. I guess that kind of just boils down to whether you recognize someone though, right? Because like if someone's been around for a long time, then you start to learn what they're like. And especially if they show their personality a lot in their messages, then they tend to stick out a little bit more. Versus like, I don't know, if you just kind of go into a stream and say hi. I think for some streamers, especially if you're streaming to a lot of people, it might be very easy to like kind of merge all of those people into one, if that makes sense. Yeah, I obviously don't have that problem because there's not enough people. I wonder what the threshold is. Oh, that would be a really interesting cognitive psychology study to find out what's the threshold at which somebody goes from where you go from having individual chatters to being everyone is just chat. That would be super interesting. Oh no. Hi Fi, how are you doing? You're actually so good at saying names. I'm kind of dog water. See, I'm not good at saying names. I think I'm okay at remembering if people are messaging for the first time in a stream, but sometimes I do forget. And sometimes I can't remember if I've said hi to them yet. And sometimes they just say an interesting message and then I forget to say hi to them. Like that red panda, I'm pretty sure I did not say hi to you and I apologize for that. But I think it's because you led with an interesting message and I just went straight for the message. The preposterous chat. Oh no. The tarnished chat. Is this not it? Is this not it? Informal talking to chatters versus getting past whatever the equivalent of Dunbar's number is. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't that be such an interesting study? That would be fun. We are quantum objects. We're both singular individuals and chat. It depends on how you perceive us. Actually, unironically true. Unironically true. I want to investigate the mechanisms that explain this difference. I feel like I want to say names, but it breaks my rhythm so frequently. See, this is the secret. I just don't have a rhythm. Just don't have a rhythm and then you don't have that problem. What were we reading again? I come in, I exist, I make myself known whether people ask me to or not. That's a very good take. I don't like, I don't know, I always feel awkward going into a chat and then saying hi. There's like exactly one streamer who I don't feel awkward doing that with. And then like everyone else, I just want to just say something. Like I don't want to do the whole like, hi, I'm here now, hello. I feel awkward. I don't want that degree of attention on me. Do not perceive me. Thank you. Everyone just calls me Alex, so you getting it right and still asking if it's correct seems pretty good with names to me. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I live in Ireland. Have you seen Irish names? The amount of names that I've had to read that is 15 letters and 2 syllables, terrifying. Terrifying. We have perceived you. No! Don't do it! Don't do it. If the viewers are parasocial towards the streamer and the streamer is parasocial towards the viewers, does that even out and make it a normal social connection? Actually, yes, I think. Because the definition of parasocial, at least under the traditional definition, is that it's a one-way relationship that cannot be reciprocated, which is why like traditional parasocial relationships were about, you know, celebrities who would be touring the world and who you would literally never interact with, or like fictional characters. Those were the traditional parasocial relationship studies. But then it's like kind of, it's undergone like linguistic shifting. And now people use it to refer to any kind of situation where it's like, there's like almost like a power dynamic difference, right? So any situation where someone is performing and you are observing, that is then considered parasocial now, but that's not quite the definition. Neither are actually properly interacting, so it's still parasocial. I'm not convinced though. I'm not convinced because like there's people. Okay, like there's people in who are regular viewers who are also like regularly posting in Discord, and I know a fair bit about them, and they obviously know a fair bit about me, and we just like chat. So like, at what point is that no longer parasocial? Like, what is the cutoff? That's a good question, and it's one that I don't have an answer to. But I think that parasocial doesn't quite encapsulate the streamer experience because the whole point is about interaction, right? A stream, like, unless it's a really, really big stream, like, as in, you know, like, there's literally like 500 plus people watching. Like, at that point, sure, you could argue it's looped back around into being parasocial, but the appeal of smaller streamers is fundamentally not parasocial because it's normally built around the interaction that you're having with the streamer, or like you as a collective are having with the streamer, at least, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I wanna do some more digging into the research around this, to be honest, because like it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. And yeah, like how do you differentiate like like a small streamer? How do you differentiate that dynamic from like, I don't know, just like an internet friend that you just like talk to occasionally in a big Discord server, for example? How is it any different? I actually don't know. I don't have an answer. Hi, Spidooey. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome in. And also, hi, Mimicry. Thank you for the lab safety register check-in. I hope you're good. Acquaintance might be too far, but I don't know what the right word is. You're right. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic, and like I said, I don't have an answer for it. It's a complex one. I suppose there'd be a large fuzzy boundary. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because like also with a stream, there's also there's arguably a power imbalance as well, right? But like the power imbalance also kind of depends on the stream. So like there are some streams where it's very clearly like, you know, the streamer is at the behest of chat. Like they are doing what chat wants them to. And then there's other streamers where like the streamer is in control and then chat is like responding. And then there's others that are kind of in the middle. But like obviously, you know, when it comes to larger streamers, if you're a large streamer, if you're a large streamer, okay, if you're a streamer with lots of concurrent viewers, right? At that point, you kind of have like implicit social power, right? Just purely based on your following. Whether we like it or not, that's how it works. So it then starts to become a question of like where, like at what point do you have to start drawing boundaries just purely based on that power imbalance now? I don't know. It's very interesting. This is interesting. It's all social psychology. It always was. I've been doing okay until I got my phone stolen. No! Oh, I'm so sorry, Spidooey. I'm so sorry. I hope, oh god, it looks remotely and all, but I don't think I'll have it back, and I have to go to my mobile provider and get a new one. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you can get one okay. That's really not fun. That's not fun. I'm sorry. For all the cat in the ceiling memes, so true. So true. There's a few VTubers that I would consider friends, but it's impossible due to the lack of a better term, power dynamic. Yeah, right? So like as a streamer, as a person who streams, I don't know, it feels weird saying that. Like I'm trying to be careful about it. Like there's some people who I know, like I can tell based on our interactions, they respect the boundaries, and that's good. Okay. But like there's other people where I'm like, I've not actually had any problems. Okay. I'm gonna say that up front. I've never had any problems, and I've never felt like somebody was like crossing any boundaries. And like where boundaries have been crossed, it's been made very, very clear straight away. And largely things have either been corrected instantly or husbanders just banned them because they're problematic. But mostly like things are very chill, and I've never really felt like my boundaries have been horribly stepped on. But I know like other streamers have had some really, really bad experiences of like, yeah, people you know, like people coming to find them, for example, in person when they don't want to and stuff like that. There's been quite a few instances of that happening. Yes. Wielding the ban hammer. But there's been quite a few instances of that happening recently. Like there's been some high profile cases. And like obviously that's terrifying. But like there is obviously a power imbalance in that. And you have to be really careful about how you navigate it, because I think that in some ways streamers have more power, especially in terms of like social clout and things like that. But like in some ways they have less power in terms of like the audience probably knows more about you than you know about them. And I think that's kind of just a default given forever. Like, you know, I don't know how most of you sound. I know how a few of you sound, but I don't know how most of you sound. So like in theory, I could walk into a room full of all of you and you would all know who I am straight away as soon as I start talking because you recognize my voice. Whereas for me, I would only know who like maybe 2 or 3 of you are. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how, yeah, the asymmetry is interesting how to navigate that. It's interesting. Very, very Complex stuff. Complex stuff. I was actually going to talk about the paper, but I think actually just talking about the social psychology of streamer dynamics is actually just more interesting. Yes, we know who you are, and yes. my evil twin. We have never been in the same room and we never will be. Hi Tayu, how are you doing?
Psydere1HYP.
I hope you're good. And also, thank you, Chasey. Thank you for the resub. Thank you so much for the Prime resub. I really appreciate it. Let's see. One thing about the chat versus individual thing is that the bigger the chat, the faster it goes, and the harder it is to read and respond to singular messages. If you look at the chat of a streamer with a few hundred viewers, and even more so with thousands, it changes from singular messages to vibes. And if you focus on single messages, tens or hundred will get skipped. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. This is what I mean by like smaller streamers are very centered around the interaction. Whereas, yeah, when you get bigger, it's almost like it's kind of funny. Like when you start streaming and there's like no one in chat, you're kind of just performing, right? You're just performing into the void. And then you get a bit of a following and there's people in your chat and you're talking to them. And then it becomes focused around the interaction. But then like when someone gets absolutely loads and loads and loads of concurrent viewers, it then kind of like horseshoes. And then like they go back to having to perform because yeah, it is just entirely just like vibes analysis, right? It's super, super interesting. Like I don't even think I could process that much information fast enough, you know? I struggle to process. I like focusing too much on individual people. So that is scary to me personally. But yeah, it's interesting how the dynamic kind of shifts. And obviously for most people, like that's a gradual change over time. So it's obviously, you know, skills that you develop, but it'd be interesting to learn more about how big streamers think about it and like what their information processing look like. Like, can you imagine like just having a big streamer, like being able to do eye tracking? You sit a big streamer down in front of an eye tracker and like you let them just look at chat and you can work out what they focus on. That would be super interesting from an information processing perspective. Yeah. Yeah. We also need to consider how one finds someone else. Like say it's one of my friends, one that's met IRL, lives in a different country, and you meet one of their friends electronically. What classes this new relationship as parasocial? Right? I think internet friends are just straight up not parasocial because that's not the definition of it. Like if you're actually interacting properly, then that's not parasocial by definition. So I don't think that would count. Yeah. Is there a Discord? There is a Discord. However, it is, yes, it's invite only while being reworked. Exactly. Yes. I'm making some changes to it over the next like month or so probably. And then maybe a bit longer. It just depends. But yeah, we're making some changes. And then it'll be open eventually. We're doing a closed alpha basically. That's we've been yes, soon, exactly. We're doing a closed alpha. Some of the more parasocial streamers also have to be really careful with setting boundaries or they start to get really creepy messages. Yeah, I can imagine. I've seen some messages that big streamers get. Like not even parasocial streamers, just big streamers. And I'm like, whoo, that's interesting. That's interesting. Good Lord. How do you cope with that? But to be fair, I'm a bit weird. Like, I'm just not really bothered by stuff. So if I started getting weird messages, I'd probably just ignore it. I'd just block the person and I just wouldn't think about it ever again. But like, yeah, I know some people it bothers them. No, I know for a fact, actually. I know for a fact that I would just block them and ignore it because I've had weird messages before, but like in a different context. And yeah, I just ignored it. I just found it mildly amusing, really, to be honest. You know who I was straight away. I have a red panda shirt on. That's called branding. I respect that. I'd recognize you off the outfit and the orange hair. That's true, actually. If someone walks in with orange hair and a lab coat, you know, there's a very small list of people it could be, to be honest. Bold of you to assume I can recognize someone's voice. That's me with faces. I can't recognize people's faces very well. I spent an entire like 4 years thinking that Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling were the same person. Genuinely, I didn't understand that they were different people. And like, I had to do like a close reading of their faces to finally start to understand that they're different people. Because like, I literally just can't tell. I just can't tell. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I don't like properly look at faces or if I don't process them properly or something, but no. I just couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. Maybe being a VTuber already helps with that because you don't show your face and maybe have an easier time putting on a character. I think that varies a lot depending on each person though, right? Because like I don't really put on a character. I don't know. Husmod could probably verify this if he wants to, but I don't really think I'm that much different as a streamer. Like maybe a bit more Genki, maybe a bit more loud. I don't know, but I think yeah, for me personally, I'm fairly similar. It's just I'm just pure autism. Like I'm just like this all the time. There's a difference. Okay, thank you for verifying. I'm always like this, unfortunately. Imagine living with this. This man lives with it and also moderates the streams. What a legend. There's kind of a reverse power imbalance. You could be somewhere near me and I'd have no idea and I would immediately know, Rin Penrose. Exactly. Exactly. I think I've told the Vexpo story before, right? Basically, I was in a queue at Vexpo and I was just stood there talking. And yeah, it was like me, Husmod, and then like one other person, and we were talking. We were all talking about something. And then they asked if we'd got any meet and greets, and I was like, no, I really wanted the Rin Penrose one. Because everybody always says that I sound like Rin Penrose. And then like 2 other people in the queue turned around and exactly the same time, all 3 of them were like, you do sound like Rin Penrose. It was like a scene out of a movie. It was really weird. I felt like I was surrounded by NPCs. It was pretty funny though, I'm not gonna lie. It took me way too long to realize that Nico Rosberg and Nico Hulkenberg were in fact 2 different people and in fact not the same person driving 2 Formula 1 race cars at once. Okay, to be fair, if they've got the helmet on, how are you even meant to tell? You know? How are you even meant to tell? It's a serious question. Yeah. Ow, I meant to do that. I think Genki and loud energy might just be the result of like nervous energy or just I'm doing a thing energy. Yeah. I mean, I did a I tweeted about this. It was so bad. It was so bad. I chaired a team meeting at work yesterday and I went into streamer mode. I am not joking. I went into full-on streamer mode. As in I was like, okay, today we're going to be talking about this. I'm excited. Who's excited? And then someone joined late and I greeted them like they were a chatter. I was like, I don't know, let's say their name was Martin, for example. They joined and then I was like, hi Martin, how are you doing? I hope you're well. And then I was like, wait. Wait, no. It was so bad. And then like afterwards I messaged my boss and I was like, I'm sorry, I went into streamer mode, didn't I? I apologize. And they were like, it's okay. We all enjoyed it. And I was like, thank you. Thank you for enjoying it. So yeah, that's a thing. I mean, I guess you could say it's skill building, right? I guess you could say it's skill building. That's adorable. I don't think it was adorable. I don't think that was the right word. I think it was a bit terrible, actually. You do sound like Rin Penrose. No! Make it stop. Make it stop. Vote to replace my work meetings manager with Psydere. It's me. I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. Imagine if I was leading the stand-up. No. Guys, how many story points do you think this is? There's gonna be at least 3, right? No. 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 We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Can't believe you're hosting private streams. I know, it's terrible. It's terrible. I would wish to spontaneously combust. Yeah, I kind of did. I kind of did, actually. If I had that, it happened in a work environment, I would be like, eh? That's so valid. I also was like that when I left the work meeting and realized I had gone into streamer mode. Yeah, it was really something. It was really something. And like the worst part is that like purely by coincidence, we were doing like a kind of quiz game. You know the ones like what are they like Menti or like Quizlet or whatever, where it's like you do little quizzes and then you answer the questions and it's all fun and cool. Purely by coincidence, we were doing one of those. I didn't actually know this until we got into the meeting. The person who had set this up was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing a fun team building activity." I was like, "Okay, cool." Actually, no, I think they said we're doing an awareness exercise. I was like, "Okay, cool. I'll give you some time." And I put it in, and then it turns out it was the game. And then afterwards, someone was like, "Of course, the streamer got the game." I was like, "I don't even play games on my streams." What is this? Also, I just realized, Bob the Buddhist and Bushy, you both said you're heading out. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope, Bob the Buddhist, I hope you enjoy your Mardi Gras celebrations. And Bushy, I hope you you enjoy your tournament. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. I will not accept defeat in the tournament if I am doing this for Hosmod's honor. Yeah, that's right. Hosmod's honor. My awareness exercise, be mindful, redeem. It wasn't. It was like information about the stuff we do. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I give up. This is not a stream about a paper. What is this? This is social psychology of streamers, I guess. I'm purely updating that for my own reference. Not playing games, says the Power World Addict. Don't out me like that, Fi. I don't need this negativity. 0 words per minute a record. It's really something, isn't it? I'm quite proud of that. At this point, sometimes the papers are just up there as a background, you know? They're just sometimes up there as a background. Okay, let's see what's going on. What's going on? Okay. Where are we? I'm confused. We got through one sentence. We didn't, actually. We didn't get through one sentence. It was purely just up there for decorative purposes at this point. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. Sometimes I have a plan and then I just want to yap, and I just give in to the yap. Husmod's laughing at me. I just give in to the yap. The only way to beat it is to unread something or read an anti-word. What if I read it backwards? Would that count? Would that count? We got derailed from the paper through interesting topics, so no complaints. That's true, actually. That's true. And it kind of makes me want to do like an entire... I used to do presentations back in the day, and then I gave up because I didn't have time because PhD. But now I kind of have a bit of time again. So I'm thinking maybe I'll start doing presentations occasionally. So maybe I'll actually do a presentation about the like psychology stuff relating to streamers. I know Mylin's done a video before, or a stream, sorry, before, where they talked about a paper about, I think it was about like why people donate to streamers. It might have been that. Yeah. So maybe actually it'd be fun to bring them in. Who knows? I should stop threatening people with collabs before I actually ask them. I should stop doing that. I just think out loud about it. Streamer suffering from success has too many chances to talk to. What if the chatters aren't real though? What if they're all AI generated? Okay, actually, we've heard of AI streamers. What about AI chatters? It's a thing that could happen. You never know. You never know. Okay, what should we do today? What should we do today? Oh, okay. No, I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing. How do we all feel about Dark Souls? How do we feel about Dark Souls? What's our opinion on Dark Souls? AI chats are botting, basically. That's true. That's true. It is kind of just botting in a way. That's true. I've heard of AI chatters, but they talk in such a weird way. I guess all of those like graphics bots like come into the stream. No, DM me and I'll make you graphics. I haven't had any of those in ages, but I guess they're basically AI chatters. Yeah. We feeling hype? Dark Souls Psydere, okay. Okay, I'm asking because how do we feel about watching Dark Souls? Because Al Mantis has just started a subathon, and I kind of want to go and watch Al Mantis play Dark Souls because I'm not gonna lie, his first Souls playthrough was extremely funny. I'm not gonna lie. It was very funny and frustrating. What is that? Okay, what is that character? Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna go see Al Mantis today. How does Dark Souls affect the mind? Probably badly. I'm not gonna lie. I think it would actually. It's one of the things that I wanna stream it at some point, one day. But I'm scared. You know, I'm scared. Eventually, though. Eventually. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go and say hello to Al Mantis. We're gonna go raid Al Mantis today. Thank you for joining me. Sorry that I didn't do any science. Well, actually, no, we did do science. We did do science because we talked about the site. Hello? There we go. Okay. We did actually talk about science technically because we talked about the social psychology of streaming. So that counts actually. Thank you very much. That counts. But yeah, I've got work tomorrow, so I need to go to bed. Sad. One day I'll get better at starting to stream a bit earlier, and maybe I even won't have work so early, and then I will be able to stream later too. And then it will be so Jhove for everyone. I will never stop. Certified science ping. A science was indeed committed. That's very true. It was interesting, so no complaints to 0 words per minute. I'm glad. I still want Dark Souls, Derry. It will happen eventually. It will happen. Thank you for the stream. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I had a skim of the paper because I didn't think we would finish it. That's fair. That's a fair assumption. We will finish it eventually, I swear. We will finish it eventually. I need to finish this paper for work. Like, I will come back onto stream tomorrow and finish this paper because I've got the yap out of my system now. So if I stream tomorrow, I will actually read the paper. So let's see. I need to read it before the end of the week, but I started it on stream, so I want to finish it on stream, you know? Last time it did take me like 5 hours to get through the first half, though. We'll see how it goes, you know? We'll see how it goes. There were many words per minute, even if they were not read. That is very true. We went through so many words per minute. Also, I realized, listening back to my VODs sometimes, I start talking. When I have thoughts, I talk way too quickly. I apologize for that. I'm never going to stop doing it, though, because I can't stop. If you can't keep up, then that's a skill issue. I definitely don't stumble over my words all the time because I'm speaking faster than I can actually process. What if you have more yap tomorrow? Then I don't know. Then we suffer. I don't know. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Top 100 rappers Eminem was too afraid to diss. So true, actually. No. Okay, no. I was going to say imagine if I did Rap God. We're not doing that. Anyway, no. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. And yeah, I don't know when I'll stream next. It will be whenever I feel like it. I'm doing guerrilla streams still. Probably will be for the foreseeable future. So if you don't follow or whatever, you have no way to find out. You should probably do that. Thank you, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your day / evening / morning / whatever. Bye.